What's up, everyone? In today's video, I brought my ELO over 1050. Lately, I've been trying to bring my ELO over 1500 by the end of the year, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to join me on my journey to 1500. So my opponent started off with e4, and I responded with e6, starting the French. He then started grabbing control of the center with d4, and I decided to bring out my queen. It would pin this pawn here, and it would also, as you can see, put pressure on this pawn. The response I wanted was something like this, where he would push his pawn up, as he would feel threatened he would feel threatened. Because normally when your queen's out here, it means a scholar's mate. Then I could bring out my king here, or my queen here, check the king, and also fork his castle in the process. But unfortunately, he did not fall for this. He did not feel threatened at all, and he actually brought out his knight to defend the pawn. What I next did was I decided to pin this knight, and this turned out to be a very good move. He then moved out his bishop, and I took here. So the reason why I took was the knight was the only thing protecting his pawn here, and of course he's going to try to take back the bishop. So I get a free pawn out of this. He then brought out his knight to block. If he had brought out his bishop, it would allow me to take this pawn and then eventually take the rook. Also, if he had brought out the queen, I would trade it since my queen's not in the best position right now, and or I could have pinned his queen. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that if he brought out his queen, I could have also taken this pawn and then caused a lot of chaos on his right side. Bringing out the knight was the smartest move here. I then brought out or developed the knight so that I could castle in the future. He brought up his queen one square. I don't know what the purpose of that was. Maybe it's because he couldn't move diagonally, and he wanted to free up his queen for later attacks or whatever. I don't know. I developed my knight instead of castling immediately, and then my opponent castled because he didn't like his pinned. He didn't want his knight pinned, and I guess now I see why he moved the queen. He probably moved it since I was preventing him from castling. So yeah. Next, I castled, and normally if you castle on opposite sides of the board, this will be more aggressive game. He then moved his undefended pawn up to be defended by his pawn, and then I just this is where I made a gamble, and it was not. So what I was trying to when he moved his knight here to pressure the queen, I decided to gamble. So I decided to move my queen in. If you just kept the board like this and I was able to move the queen up one more square, this would have been checkmate, and the game would have been over. Instead, he moved his pawn up. Not only did this stop me from being able to, checkmate, since his bishop was now controlling that square, but it was now trapping my queen from getting out. I think what I should have done instead was taking this pawn. It would have been a nice check, and it would have put me up by pawn. But instead, what I did was I brought out I developed my knight. What I wanted his bishop to take, because I could still move to this square for the checkmate. So instead, he decided to protect his pawn, and I didn't do anything about this knight. I just left it there because still, even if he moved it up, I would have been able to get a checkmate. He then moved his bishop so that his queen could take it in the future if I didn't move it. So I had to move the knight. I was eyeing this square, the e5 square. I had relative control over it with these pieces, so uh, I decided to push. He then moved his knight back, and I was able to, take a pawn. Next, to trying to break. My queen was really trapped at this point, and I was trying to break the queen out here. I had to do a knight trade here to keep the queen from being eliminated. He could have easily eliminated my queen. All he had to do was move out his king and then move the rook into position, but I actually never saw that. I then made a bad decision of trying to kick the queen. Right here, all it would take would be one move, and I would have been checkmated. But I got lucky, and he actually resigned. So I technically won that game. So thank you for